Hello and welcome to another Writerly Witterings with me, Michael Jex, the tea drinking author, with a cup of Twining's breakfast tea, because it seems quite suitable on a day when it's only just 9:30 in the morning, on a grim, grey Dartmoor day, but that's the weather you get over here. So, what have we got today? First of all, thanks to all the Patreons. Here they are, I think. They should be that side when they turn up. And it's because of people like that I can keep this channel going. So if you ever think about supporting the channel, you can do it remarkably cheaply. And then you get updates fairly regularly. And I'm going to be sending one through later today for all the people who are on the Patreon site. And if you're not paying for Patreon, you can still see those updates a little bit later. So that might be of interest. Anyway, what do we got here? We have a fountain pen. I know it's that because I was warned by Conway Stewart they were going to send it to me, which is rather nice of them. So in here there is a special limited edition Conway Stewart fountain pen of a rather special type. So let's have a look at it. After that particularly silly little quick run through, what do you actually get for your hard-earned cash? First of all, you get a little polishing cloth, always very useful actually, I like these. You get some free inks in jet black, which is a diamine style of ink, I think. You get an instruction manual which tells you everything you could possibly want to know about your pen. You get an invitation to join in the Conway Stewart conversation, so basically you can become a fan club, and you get a little thank you, which I think is a nice touch. You get a certificate of authenticity, because that's always rather nice. And then you get a little booklet on hallmarks. This is also rather nice, just goes through the history and what sort of traditional hallmarks there are and everything. It's nice. It's good to get these things. But this is the bit you're actually all waiting for, isn't it? This is the King Charles III Coronation pen. Nice packaging, cardboard, so it's not silly. And inside you have one of their standard presentation type boxes. Just move these other things out of the way since they are now superfluous. So this is the Conway Stewart standard box. Rather handy because you lift the lid up, and not only is it a convenient means of transport for your pen, it's also a presentation box for it. Or it can be said it's rather a useful little thing to have on your desk. Well, wow is the first thing to say. This is absolutely glorious. It's not over heavy. The total weight of the pen cap on is 48 grams. The cap itself was 26 and the body of the pen was 23, unfilled. If any of you clever people out there are now thinking, well, that doesn't add up, it's purely down to the way that my scales work and rounding up errors. Nothing very exciting, I'm afraid. This is roughly the dimensions of the Churchill, I think. The cap and the barrel are machine turned in this, I think it's called guilloche type of pattern, which is really beautiful, absolutely glorious. And now, before carrying on, I'm going to read to you what Conway Stewart have sent to me. And they say, the barrel and cap are made from sterling silver and the barrel is hallmarked. On the top of the cap is the profile of King Charles III, which has been captured by the UK Assay Office's commemorative mark for the Coronation. The pen has an engine-turned body and cap, which gives it a classical appearance and a tactile feel. Yep, I agree with that. The engine turner uses a hand machine, and at the bottom I'm going to put a link through to a page on Conway Stewart's site where they actually show the metal turner doing this work, and you can see what a lengthy process it is. It's not easy. No computers or electric motors. It's a hand-driven machine driven by cogs and clever Victorian mechanics. The pattern used is the same as on the Queen's Platinum Jubilee pen produced last year. It's fitted with a 23-carat gold-plated clip that complements the silver body. Yep, I agree. This one has a fine nib, which I asked for so I could test and compare it next to some medium nibs. It's also available as a roller ball. It's being made with 250 units worldwide. It's the only, they're only going to make 250. It is a limited edition pen, and unfortunately they've already sold 100 of them, which is, I think, a warning to you. As I say, it's also available as a rollerball. If you buy the fountain pen, you can buy a conversion kit which will convert it into a rollerball, which is rather a nice touch. So let's just, having described it like that, let's just have a look at it. I think that machine turning is just beautiful, I have to admit. So there was mention of the picture of Charles III on the top. It is there. I can't see it. Now, this is the trouble about having diabetic maculopathy and retinopathy. Now, hopefully here you can see the perfect image of King Charles. I can, just about. Looking at the cap itself, there are no marks at all here or on the top. The clip is really firm. That's not going to fall out of your pocket, I am glad to say. And it is light enough that it will fit happily in a shirt pocket or a coat pocket. It's 48 grams. It's substantial enough without being or feeling over heavy. On the bottom of the cap, you can see here, hopefully, there are the hallmarks, and I will hope that by simply showing it like that, it'll show up. Although the barrel itself seems to be pretty much parallel-sided, so it is just cylindrical in outline. The end does taper slightly, and at the bottom here you can see that it says this is number 65 of 250, so each of them is individually marked with their serial number. Opening the pen, we have a lovely classic black section here, which has a very slight ridge rather than a flare at the top, but that feels really good in the hand. The nib is one of the new Conway Stewart styles, which is two-tone. It is solid gold, but it's been plated with a silver material and looks absolutely glorious. As you can see, this pen is very, very elegant and stylish. It feels wonderful. It will roll off a desk, but it doesn't want to roll very far because of this machining. So that's good. This desk is at about 30 degrees, so anything will roll off here, but it won't roll laterally because of that machine turning. As a pen, you can either use it with ink cartridges, as I demonstrated with the ink cartridges that came, or you can use it with a piston cartridge converter like this. And what I like is, as you can tell, this is absolutely fresh from the box. I haven't touched it, but Conway Stewart are testing them to make sure they all write and work perfectly, which is a nice touch, very nice touch indeed. So let's fill it with some ink and see how it works. I've been considering what sort of ink to use today, and my current favourite grey is Earl Grey from Diamine, so I'm going to use this. I find Earl Grey is a deeply satisfying colour, and it's deeply unsatisfying to realise that I can't get the pen into the bottle. It is the trouble with these smaller sample bottles, is that not every pen will fit inside it. And so I'm going to have a quick hunt around on my desk. And so let's try some Earl Grey. I bought this recently because I've used so much of the sample that there isn't much left. So you'll be glad to know this is the first use of this bottle of Earl Grey ink, and I am not going to let the bottle run down my desk and disappear. Here we go. As you can see, a nice, good, full fill, as it were, of Earl Grey ink. If you like an elegant ink that is suitable for daily use and also really very good for work, which is just a little bit more subtle than a black, and which has a pleasant warm red overtone, Earl Grey, I think, is about the best you can get nowadays. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just make sure there's no ink on the section to make a mess of my hands yet again. Oh, yep, I've got a bit on my thumb. Never mind. Now, all we need is a little bit of paper. Here we have some plain writing paper, which is William Hanna's finest. Now, I have to say that feels spectacular. I do like generally medium and broad nibs. This fine, however, gives a really good feel. And I think looks rather wonderful on the page. In terms of flexibility, without trying too hard, you get a very nice line variation. You have to work a little bit harder than you would do with, say, a Pineda Superflex or Hyperflex nib, but that's not all to the bad. This is something you could sit down and write. You can jot down notes. The nib's going to work superbly well every time, and when you want to take a little bit of time, then you can make your writing take on a slightly different edge. In fact, I think that is the sort of pen that, yes, collectors are going to love this. Collectors are going to think it's just brilliant. But that's a pen I would use for daily use. That is really quite superb. Feels lovely in the hand, looks stunning, and writes like a dream. I think this, especially because it is a limited edition, and therefore it's going to be hopefully increasing in value. You never can tell with these things, but I wouldn't be surprised if, being a coronation special for King Charles, I wouldn't be surprised at all if these things do gain in value. But it's just a wonderful pen to use and to look at, which is good. That's very good. Yes, I like that. I like that lots. Thanks very much to Conway Stewart for sending me this to review. Sadly, it will be shortly winging its way back to them. And then one of you lucky people can probably buy it. There you go. So there you have it. One excellent pen, and as I said, it fits in the pocket really well because these clips from Conway Stewart are very efficient. Simple, just relying on the spring steel or the spring of the gold, whatever it might be. It's gold plated, so it's probably steel underneath. You know, I like the mechanical clips that you get on things like Viscontis and Pinedas. I like the simple steel clips you get on something like a Bastion. But there's something about the Conway Stewart clip with that little CS logo that makes it just perfect for the classical design of a pen like that. And look at how that thing catches the light as you just rotate it. As I say, if you're interested in how they make this machine turning design, there's a link at the bottom. It'll take you through to a Conway Stewart page, which then takes you through to a recording done by the engineer who produced this and all of the other 250 blanks for Conway Stewart. And it's really interesting. And time consuming and slow and very Victorian. But it's fun. Hope that was interesting. Don't forget, if you're interested in supporting the channel, you can buy me a coffee, you can go to Patreon and join whichever tier you want. But even if you don't want to do that, if you just hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell for notifications, you'll get even more videos coming through to you from me. And because of the way YouTube works, it will help me a bit as well with a bit of money coming through from advertising and so on. So there are ways you can support me like that. Nice and simple. And next week, what are we going to have? Well, I've got another interesting pen coming over from America. I don't know if it'll be here in time, but if not, I have a whole selection of inks which I need to go through at some point, and which I just haven't had time to yet. So keep watching and there'll be more exciting stationery stuff for you to come. In the meantime, because I know what sort of people you are, here's some pups behaving badly. Take care, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.